Hello there. This is Cindy at cindybdesigns.com. Thank you for joining me today. This is a card that we will be making. I have a few more shots coming up for you. I did make this one on the fly as I was pre-cutting paper because I had my color scheme in mind first, which is in our DSP. So I hope that you enjoy today's project. This card here on the left is what I made on Tuesday to show you, and that is Thursday's card, a little bit of a window card there. I used all in colors for my main focus for this card. Cup Cheer dies from Christmas are carrying over. Rise and Shine, new celebration set that you can pick up as of March 4th, and we'll talk about that more. Terracotta tile, scalloped edge ribbon. I do switch that out. Memento tuxedo black, seaside spray, and crumb cake. We have the banner triple punch and an old retired notebook punch. I do keep those kinds of staples. I have terracotta tile, piece of scrap. Our card base is thick whisper white, top folding A2. Seaside spray mat. That's from Woven Threads, purple posy mat. That came from Come Together, and I'll talk about that more later. But those are additional scraps. All the measurements, everything will be over at cindybdesigns.com, and there will be a blog link in this YouTube description that you click right on it. It'll take you directly to that blog post, and you'll be good to go. So again, our main colors are going to be purple posy, seaside spray, and terracotta tile. They are all 2019 to 2021 in colors, and they're showcased in the Woven Threads DSP. And that right there is where I pulled my colors from to put together this card. I'm grabbing that notebook punch, which is a complete staple in my book, and you know I keep things like that, and I let you know. I don't use them a lot, but when it calls for it, I do. And so I punched the little notebook holes in the side there. That DSP is from Come Together. There's a little bit of pretty peacock in there, but it's subtle enough to where it's not going to blow my color scheme, so to speak. That is the stitch label, like perforated die. It's not going to cut through, it's going to impress, and I'm using that to make the horizontal line over towards, to mimic the line on the left of notebook paper. Now for a coffee cup, we're not going to partial die cut it that way. We're just going to alter the look by what we do. It doesn't matter which side you cut from, because we are going to end up cutting those handles off anyway, and you want to, and I cut them from terracotta tile cardstock. That's that little baby mini paper trimmer I've been talking about a lot. I kind of blow one cut, that one right there. I thought I'd fix it. It's like, no, it's just easier to kind of stack them, grab a pencil, make a line, and then go ahead and cut the excess off that, which I did. I knew the length I wanted that to be, and I think that's like 2 5/8. And so I'm going to line it up using my ruler, the purple tape, and then liquid adhesive to end up putting that together to make it more look like a Starbucks cup rather than a coffee cup. I use this old paper crimper rather than the corrugated embossing folder. Mine cracks because my big shot's like calibrated really tight, so this was a better option for me to do. That is crumb cake cardstock, and I'm setting that up to get glued down, and then we're going to get everything put together. To get this look, you can use notebook paper, grid paper. We have some packaging that you could cut up to get that kind of look. I mean, there are options. So I'm trying to wing my sentiment strip right now, and where I want to get that put down, lining up the card. And I'm getting the steam image laid out so I can get that stamped up in Seaside Spray. And you can see how I use my Stamparatus so much as a tool in all of my projects when I put everything together, and how I use that grid there. Mistake number one, that should have been down in Crumb Cake, not Seaside Spray, so don't do that. We went over this last week about using the Stamparatus to help you line up your sentiments. So I have that, and I'm going to stamp out our sentiment in Memento Tuxedo Black, and it's going to be two-tone because the coffee word I'm going to end up laying down in Seaside Spray, because I really am keeping the rule of threes going here, or in the colors in drawing your eye into a triangular formation, so to speak. And with a Seaside Spray, little sun images that I wanted to make like faux coffee rings in Crumb Cake, that really offsets the little koozie that I made with the crimper. So it's things like that that I try to think about as I'm designing a project in my colors. I'm bringing in the triple banner punch. That flag is going to go to the very top right of our card, and I'm sizing up our sentiment banner as well. And it is long, but I would rather keep kind of monkeying with it a little bit and cutting it down and making it perfect, as opposed to having like constantly to restamp it and punch it out. But you just gotta do the math sometimes, and it does work out. And that's why I use my Stamparatus a lot, because there's just things going, math going on in my head at the same time. Anyhow, I put some dimensionals on the back of our coffee cup there. And I do not have my ribbon down yet, which is coming up. And that's like mistake number 2, by the way. So now I'm fixing the sentiment, wrangling the punch over the card, that visual thing, and I am getting it all together. So this is where mistake number 2 comes in, because we're going to be getting to the ribbon, and I'm kind of marking it right there where to start wrapping it around. But first we have to cut it, because it does not come like that. I was going to use a terracotta tile, but changed my mind. But to get that little scallop edge there, you just cut up the sides. And that basically gives you like 2 different types of ribbon. So why I'm wrapping this around the card right now, or not the card, but that image panel, I have no idea. And using Scotch tape to get the edges down, because that does keep them down better than snail or whatever. It's just another tool that I use. I really wanted to take that ribbon around the Seaside Spray mat with a DSP on it, and like I said, I'm doing this on the fly, but when your hands do something that your brain isn't thinking, that's what happened here, and that's pretty much the best I can articulate it. Anyhow, paper clip in your desk. That's a very old one left over from years ago, at least, I don't know, a decade. I'm adding tear and tape on the back because this is layered up very heavily, and I'm really trying to hold on and sneeze too, by the way. I'm going to peel that off. When I layer things up, I have more of a tendency to keep things flat, but the top layer will have dimensionals on it. But you can like do dimension with other aspects too. With the notebook edge there on the left, I use my fingers to like flip that up a little bit, and that gives it more dimension. We have a scallop ribbon giving it a little bit more. We're going to have our die cut heart coming up. from stitch labels, not stitch be mine, so my supply list is wrong there. We also have that flag in the top right. So everything in the paper clip. So there's like a lot of different ways you can add dimension here without not necessarily building up a card and using, well, foam dots or Stampin' Dimensionals to do that. So you're kind of seeing my process here a little bit. I know I want to take that all the way over, and I'll put a Stampin' Dimensional towards the very, very left of that. A little bit of glue towards the right, because I am dealing with heights here a little bit. Go ahead and get that down, and I think that we have just a very well designed and balanced card. This is where I'm pulling back in the Big Shot with Purple Posy cardstock and use that little heart from Stitched Labels. So we're going to get that cut off. I'm going to put a mini Stampin' Dimensional on the back of it, and then just put it right in the middle of that koozie or coffee sleeve, whatever it's called. But I do thank you for joining me today. I hope that you've enjoyed this week's projects and today's video. You can pick this up on March 4th, the Rise and Shine. It goes with Cuppet Chair dies that are carrying over from our holiday catalog. But thank you for being here today. Please hit like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment. And I hope that you have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you back again next week.